All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. I am your host, Shon Williams, and welcome to the Safe Room, a safe space for entrepreneurs and business owners here in Toronto to share their personal and professional stories. Now, a couple of things. First things first, I was gone last week. We will get to that. Don't worry. And number two, as you can see, like it's just me. We're rocking with another solo episode, another open mic. So the last one was pretty well. We talked about the Voice of Millennials Summit the last time for my first ever open mic. Today we'll be talking about some other things, a little bit more open, a little bit more fresh. So I'm hoping to have a great conversation with everyone here who's in the chat. If you want to place a call in, hopefully we can get the number up. So that could be a possibility. If you guys again have any questions, feel free to share in the chat. I'm an open book today, ladies and gentlemen, but I will be back next week and I will have a guest. Don't worry. But for today, you got Mr. President, you got me, and I might be a little rusty, like I mentioned. It's been my first episode in 2 weeks. So we're going to try to work things out. But again, if you guys are returning listeners, welcome back to the Safe Room. You know how it is, you know the vibes. If you are here for the first time, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Shon Williams. I'm 24. Yes, I'm that young. Still going through life here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I am the host of the Safe Room. We have our show every single week here on Love Bay Radio. Our conversations are centered around bringing entrepreneurs, business owners, industry leaders, but it's not just excluded to that. Sometimes we'll have artists and creatives, people who have had such incredible stories. And the whole emphasis of our show is to give them a platform to share their wins, to talk about their professional stories and their personal experiences. Sometimes we don't get the opportunity to talk about ourselves in a positive light. So here at the Safe Room, we try to give that space for people, whether it's 45 minutes, an hour and 30, because there are times we go past that time frame and I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do better for myself, but we like to give people their flowers and their roses. So that's what the Safe Room is all about. We got some amazing segments that we usually do on the Safe Room. We have our hot seat. Again, if we had a guest, you would know. But tune in next week. I guarantee you will get the gist of it. Our hot seat basically works as 4 questions that, we ask all our guests as an icebreaker. And one question I actually wanted to ask you guys in the chat, everyone listening, where you're at YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever the case may be, is what is your personal safe room? So, what is a safe space where it could be physical, it could be mental, that allows you to be your personal self? Like, what is that safe room for you? And I think I've answered this a couple of times on this show, but I'll say it again. I think my safe room can honestly be anything as long as I have a close relationship with God. I think for me, like that is just the ultimate safe room I can always confine in. My relationship with God, being able to talk to Him in my dire needs, whether it's good or bad. That's something I always want to have close to me for the rest of my life. So I'm grateful. I'm blessed that I'm saved by Jesus Christ. And I hold that dearly. I don't care what anyone says, what anyone thinks. That's always going to be my number one safe room. So again, put in the comment section, what is your safe room? But until then, let's actually get into the conversation. Now, like I mentioned, guys, your boy was not here last week, and I got a reason because the last 7 days, oh boy, it has been crazy to say the least. But I like to do a little bit of weekly recap. We got a lot of talking points. We'll do the weekly recap. I want to talk a little bit more about finding new opportunities because I feel like over the last 7 days, that's exactly what's happened to me. Finding new opportunities, whether it has to do with a professional career or just going down a personal path. I think that's something that we always have to embrace and to share. So we're going to talk about finding new opportunities and we're going to talk about Cheers to Five. Now, for those who have never heard of Cheers to Five, I will restart. The Safe Room has been running for 5 years now. 5 years. Woo, yep, hooray. And I want to do something special. I want to do a celebration event. Now, this was supposed to happen in July, but unfortunately, I didn't realize how competitive July was as a month. And basically, everyone was out of town or having fun. It was a hot girl summer. The case may be. You know how the vibes get in July. So we had to push back to September. So again, we'll get into the details of that. what to expect. And again, even if you're someone who's completely new, I would love to have you there because I got an agenda. I got one of the best agendas you possibly could imagine when it comes to entertainment and vibes. So you definitely want to be there. But again, let's get into my weekly recap. So, well, Thursday. Last Thursday, I should say. So, number one, I wasn't here because I was actually at a poetry night. And no, it wasn't me doing poetry. Relax. I ain't got the bars like that. Now, listen, the funny thing is, I would love to like make music, but poetry, like, that's a whole nother echelon. It's a whole nother lane that I stay away from. But I was there because a friend was actually doing a performance and he wanted me there to help take photos. And he also had some business cards that he wanted to sell. But we didn't get the chance to sell any business cards because everything else was just so active in the moment. So, it is what it is. But he did a great job. He went for about like 10 minutes. He had a 10-minute set. And mind you, like, I'm more on the video side. When it comes to photography, I'm completely new. So, like, he had to run a whole tutorial with me on, like, okay, like, these are the settings. If you want to, like, zoom in and make sure, like, get the proper lighting and the focus. And I was just kind of like sitting there, like, shaking my head, but my brain was like running on like 1,000 miles per hour. I was freaking out, absolutely freaking out. But I thought, you know what? New opportunity, which again, what I'm going to talk about later on and kind of expand on. But it was fun. Had a great time. Got to meet some people that I've seen a couple times. Some people I haven't seen in a while. And there was one conversation that I will say that I won't lie, it was kind of awkward. It was probably the most awkward conversation I've ever had in my life. I don't want to get into it because I feel like if you got nothing good to say or anything shady, don't have to spill anyone's business. We leave it as it is. So that was Thursday. Friday last week, I had work and I was just super tired. Just like it was a long day, so much was going on. I was just ready to go home. Then Saturday comes. Now, Saturday, I went out with the fam, went out with my family, and we went to the Grenada Day Festival that was actually up at Jane and Steele's near York University. It wasn't on campus, it was more located in an undisclosed area. And, usually they have the festival at Coronation Park here in Toronto at Eglinton Avenue West. For those who know, if you've been there, if you've ever drove past there on that one day and you would just see a bunch of people wearing red, green, and yellow, jumping up and down, craziness. Like, yep, that's the Grenada Day Festival. But this year they want to move it to the new location. And again, I'd never been one person to like rightfully go online and bash something because I feel like I don't have the time and the energy to do that. I just feel like no one deserves that. But I will be honest, like it was not the best festival that I've been to of my time going. It just wasn't good. The organization wasn't as strong. It was a lot of logistical issues. The performances just didn't feel so good as well. And I just want to leave it at that. Again, I don't want to just roast it and come on here and say, "Oh, it sucked. It was trash." Like, no, I'm not trying to rage bait, and that's never been my type of energy. But just from my personal experience, it just did not go the way that we were hoping to go. And it is what it is. I don't even want to share upon like what my family thought. Again, I keep that away. This is just my personal thoughts. But again, for those who did win, I hope you did enjoy some aspect of it. It was a good crowd, regardless. Got some good food, got some products from some of the vendors. I got a nice little body butter. It was like coconut and lime. 10 on 10. It smells so delicious. I've been using it ever since, bro. Absolutely amazing. Um, that was Saturday. And then Sunday, I went to Fan Expo here in Toronto. So if you guys haven't heard about Fan Expo, it's like the biggest comic book slash anime slash sci-fi convention that you could possibly imagine. So it was my third time going to Fan Expo, but I'm not someone that's actually into like comic books and anime like that. The reason I was there is that the Canadian Podcast Awards, which is basically a organization, a group that hosts a directory of different Canadian podcasters across Canada. They had a booth set up for the entire stretch of the convention from August 21st to August 24th. So I was there on the last day, which was the 24th on the Sunday. And I got to do some tabling from 3 to 5. I got to promote the safe room, get my name out, get some exposure. We are outside. We are touching grass. We're not like anyone else. It's like, oh, I'm just staying inside. No, we are out here. We outside. So it was a great opportunity, super fun. We got to take some photos. We did some interviews, and I like to be different too. Everyone that's there who's like a podcast and is doing tabling, usually they'll have like maybe some fun activities and like business cards. And I'm like, I mean, that's cool, and I could do that, but I want to do something that's like a little bit more special, a little bit more memorable, and let people know like we was here doing the thing. So ever since the first time I went to Fan Expo, I had this genius idea of like, okay, let me do interviews because number one, people are probably not expecting that. Number two, it makes their day because let's say someone is cosplaying and they come out just looking to enjoy a good time by themselves with their friends or family. And imagine someone like myself walking up saying, like, oh my goodness, like I really love your costume. I really love what you're wearing. I love the vibe. Would you want to do an interview? Like, I hope that puts a smile on people's face because it's like, wow, like there's thousands of people here, like literally thousands of people, and you chose me to do an interview. Like it makes them happy. So we try to do something a little bit different with the safe room when we're always at Fan Expo. And I think it's great. I'm happy about it. It was a fun time. But as I mentioned, it was very tiresome. So yeah, that was Thursday to Sunday. And obviously Monday to Wednesday, just work. I was supposed to go to an event on Monday, but I was so tired, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't. I couldn't. Not to mention on Saturday, I had to go pick up some rental equipment because I was renting out some microphones for Sunday. So Monday morning, I had to go back, but unfortunately, I was working. So once I finished my opening shift at 1, I then went to the rental place, which was like at Queen Street East, and I live like on the west end in North York. So it took me a while to get there. I had to take an Uber there and back. And Monday was like pouring. It was raining all of a sudden, like very random, unexpected. So I wanted to go. It was very sad that I couldn't go. And the event I wanted to go to was for someone we actually had on the safe room before. Nikisha Moody. She is a consultant, a coach, specialty in financial service, and she was celebrating her 5th year anniversary of her business, and she had such a stacked lineup, not just in terms of panelists and moderators, but different activations that were going on at the time being. So first things first, I want to say shout out to Nikki because she's been one of my biggest mentors. She's an absolute trailblazer. She's a grinder. She doesn't stop. It doesn't matter what you're doing. She will either A, push you to your absolute best, your absolute limit, or B, be your biggest supporter. That has always been Nikki. She hasn't changed for no one. She has been a pillar for the entrepreneurship ecosystem, and she continues to make new trends as she goes. So, again, Nikki, if you're listening to this, just know it's all love over here at the safe room. We love you dearly. Wish you nothing but the best. And when we get to that 10 years anniversary, like we gotta do something special. Whether it's like maybe we do a live broadcast, like I'll be there. I'll be there and I will plan it all out. Or if we gotta go fly out of the country, go to the Caribbean, you let me know. I'm gonna get my trunks, I'm gonna get everything ready, and we'll be set to go. So shout out to you, Nikki. You're absolutely amazing. You're a superstar. Just keep doing you. And yeah, that was Monday. Tuesday, again, work. Wednesday. Wednesday was bad as work as well. Actually, no, not Wednesday. Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. That was terrible. So I was working Tuesday and I was closing. And I think it rained 5 separate times. So I got absolutely soaked, absolutely drenched to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I thought for a moment, like, you know what? After the third time it rained, they should just close everything down. They should just shut down operations and let people go home. But that's not the case. And honestly, I was genuinely upset. I was thinking to myself, like, there's no way, like, I'm gonna get through this day. So luckily today, I had a day off. Much needed. Because if I didn't have that day off, I guarantee you, I would not have this energy today. It would have been like super low, like 5%. Just Sean not giving enough effort. I want to give you guys the effort because you guys deserve it. You guys deserve it. And that's where we're at. The last 7 days have been insane, been crazy, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful to God that I'm here in the land of the living, still doing his mercy, doing his work. And I'm just going to keep doing it, which gets me into the next conversation I want to have is finding new opportunities. But before we get into that again, If you guys are just coming in, this is the safe room here on Love Bay Radio. We don't have a guest this week. We're doing an open mic night. We're going back to the old days of the safe room where people don't know. I was doing a lot of these solo episodes. I would speak here for 50 minutes, easy. Now I'm a little rusty because it has been a lot of years, but we still got it in our bag. We still keep it tucked in. Don't worry, it's never left the bag. It's just been cooped down at the bottom. I had to reach down there, but now we're back in it. Okay, y'all get the deal. So again, if you guys want to send your questions, put in the comments. I'm here to answer them. Anything, let me know. I'm an open, but let me know. You know what it is. So finding new opportunities. Now, I mentioned before when I was giving my weekly recap on Thursday, I went to a poetry night and I took photos for a friend. Mind you, I didn't take photos before on a camera. And I'm not talking like, oh, like your phone. No, I'm talking like a proper camera, like a DSLR. Like my brain was rattled. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna butcher this because like if he's asking me to take photos, and like mind you, the person that I was going to support, he's a photographer. So it's not like, oh, like he's taking a couple photos like in his spare time for fun. Like, no, like this is what he does. And he wanted me to take photos of him. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get roasted. Like he's gonna look at me and be like, bro, what type of shot is this? Like, why did you take a photo like my eyes are closed or like the framing's bad or whatever? Like I'm not in focus. So we did a couple test shots and at first I was kind of rough, but then I got into a flow. I got into the flow of things, you know, it is what it is. But it was a new opportunity. And I think when it comes to new opportunity, those are things that sometimes you're going to see it very direct, like you know it's coming, and other times it's very indirect. You never know when it's going to come. You never know what the consequences are going to be from it, how everything's going to pan out, what's the final outcome. And I've always thought to myself, like, what are the most favorable opportunities? Is it the ones that are more direct or the ones that are more indirect? And honestly, it's a combination of both. Sometimes like you need something that is going to be very determined and you know it's coming. So that way you know how to prepare for it depending on the situation itself. And sometimes having opportunities that are indirect can also be a blessing because we always assume that everything comes to us very linear, that we know what's going to come, but just like everything that God has planned for us, we don't know. Because only God has the plan for us. Only He knows exactly the steps and the trails that we need to take to get to that next level. So for me, I would say like direct opportunities and indirect opportunities are super important for all of us. And I think we need to embrace them equally. So overall, I mean, it was good to take some photos and help out my friend because it also let me know that this is something I can do. Because for the longest time, I felt like, okay, I could just do videography and like I'm fine with that. I'm trying to become very skillful in that trade. But overall, like I'm thinking to myself, like, well, hold on now. Like I do videography, I can now do photography. I can like build up some credibility on that. And now, like, look at me. I can now become a jack of all trades instead of just like being one dimensional, being stuck on one thing. Like you do podcasting, you do videography, you do photography. You know, another thing that I've been wanting to get into is script writing. And I actually took some time to like write a script just a couple months ago, and you know, I was really proud about myself. I like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I did not think I would have the time, and I wrote that script like in a week. I don't know what happened. It's just like you know when people really say like you get your best ideas in the shower. That is a factual statement. I'm sorry, I will stand on that hill. You will get your best ideas in the shower, and it just came to me of just sort of like a short film project that I wanted to do, and I just said, okay, you know what? I need to type out this. Let me go to like online. Like, what are some good like film app software or like script writing software? So just like tap in on my laptop. I found one and I just went to work. Just boom, 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 bow, 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 got everything out. And I felt so happy for myself. Like, wow, like look at me, like writing a script just like that, like in my free time. Like that was crazy. So script writing is another thing that I want to like dive deeper into. And it's, you know, finding those new opportunities. Cause again, sometimes again, you get those direct opportunities where they're shown to you ahead of time. And it's really the opportunity for us. Like, do we want to take on it? Do we want to apply this to our personal career or even just use it as a hobby? And I think not every opportunity needs to have a crazy upside where it's like, oh, it's got to make me money or it's got to like further my professional growth, and trust me, I would love that. Don't get me wrong. Like, I would love to be working another job that kind of qualifies to my skill sets in marketing communications. But at the end of the day, sometimes we need an opportunity to treat ourselves and practicing mental health and self care. And I think for a lot of us, we always assume that when it comes to self care, like it's a choice. It's not a choice, it's a necessity. Like, we need to. Like, to be honest, I had enough time in the day where I could have done some work, but I told myself, you know what? Nah, I'm just gonna sleep. Like, after the last 7 days, I just need to sleep. And that's okay, because as long as you acknowledge that you're taking that active rest, taking that day to just cool down and then understand, like, okay, once I am done resting, I'm gonna get off the ground running. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do this, tackle all my tasks, then that's cool. Like, when you're resting and you don't have any plans afterwards to do something, I think that's when you can fall into a problem of procrastination or just getting lazy. And again, it happens to all of us. We're not perfect. We're inhuman. Like, we can't expect all the good things to happen or us to be on time of everything. That's why we practice time management, prioritizing certain things. But I think overall, having those direct opportunities, it gives us a choice to say, okay, well, should I take on this opportunity, or like, do I want to take on this opportunity because it's going to be good for me, or do we choose to let it pass by? And sometimes, like, it happens. Sometimes we want to do something and we'll hold off on it, and it might be too little, too late. So that definitely was one thing that I learned just in that moment. Like, what, it's gonna be very indirect and just like, hey, I just need you to take photos. Like, here's my camera. And like, I was trying to be careful too. I know a lot of people talk about, like, oh man, like, how is it like being a videographer or photographer? Like, let me tell you something. When you get into that lifestyle of like media and content creation, it ain't cheap. All right. This microphone, $300. This stand was about $70. The interface I have was like $200. Obviously on my laptop, that's like over a grand. Like, I was listening to a podcast actually, and honestly, they were talking about, like, yo, the amount of like money I spent on equipment alone is like insane. Like, how you watch like your favorite celebrities or favorite rappers wear like their jewelries and like the bust down watches. I guarantee you the amount of equipment someone has, like a seasoned photographer has, is probably equivalent to like one watch on like a rapper. Like they are like dripped out in a different way. Like, it's like, oh, we got that, like that fresh money, that new money with like the bling. That's like, well, we got that vintage money with like the cameras. Like, I got this Sony camera, this Nikon camera, or Canon, whatever the case may be. Like, it's insane. So I know I'm rambling a bit, but the whole point I'm trying to get to is that, again, you want to take on new opportunities. And another new opportunity that I found was that someone that reached back to me a while ago was, we were talking, we met at an event, actually a month to this day, I believe, which is unique timing. And he wanted to offer me, an opportunity to help me, scale my business, like find new connections, get into a new field. And originally I was thinking, I don't know, because like I'm fine where I'm at right now. But again, I think that level of comfortability can be also a sense of vulnerability. Trying something new doesn't always have to be scary. It can always be something that you dive into, and it can be good. And I get it. When we're in a very comfortable state, we tend to get complacent. And I don't want to generalize on everyone. Sometimes when you're comfortable, you're fine, you're in a flow, and that's cool. But even when you're in a flow, sometimes it's okay to kind of shake the room a bit, ruffle some feathers. And I think at that point for me, I thought, okay, I'm doing this right now. Like, I'm fine. So I thought, okay, what would happen if I don't take this opportunity? Like, what if I just leave it alone? I would have still been here in the same situation, but I would also understand that this situation would not last forever. It doesn't mean that, like, oh, I'll be good for the rest of my life. No, it's eventually going to go away, or maybe it'll get better, but most likely it'll go away. This new opportunity, I have the chance to do something different, challenge myself, but the risk of everything going south, it's very low. And I did talk to that person in terms of like, what are my goals and my aspirations? If I haven't shared it with you guys, I want to have my own studio to do all my podcast recordings. I would love to do like live shows like for the safe room. Like be that guy to tour around the world and do live shows. I've seen people book out like small venues and like, okay, we're gonna do like I guess a live podcast special and like people could come out, enjoy themselves, have a good time, like something like that. That's what I want to do. I can see myself doing that and I know it will happen, but I know I'm not going to do that if I'm just sticking in the same spot over and over again. I got to try something new. And just because also you being in that position and going to something completely new that may not connect it to what you're doing, it doesn't mean that you can't find your way back to it. Or maybe you go into a new lane allows you to actually continue on that trend, continue on building on what you're doing, which is very ironic because I find myself in that realm where I can still kind of do what I'm doing with the safe room while trying this new thing. And again, the risk of it, it's very low. So again, I would probably tell to anyone, just take a chance. When it comes to new opportunity, take a chance and also be intentional, be aware. I don't also want to say like, don't go into anything if you know, like, okay, I'm not sure about this. Like, ask your questions, of course. Ask your questions. And even when you get the opportunity, be intentional, be self-aware. Because again, things can happen in a way where we're not ready for what's next. We're not ready for what's to come. And it could hit us in a way where it impacts us emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. It can happen. It's happened to me before. Trust me. I've had lots of moments where I thought, oh man, like this could go so well. And then boom, one bad moment, and like you're back to rock bottom. So it's also being aware. But I think if you're able to accept that, you know what, I want to grow. And if that means I have to go through some bumpy roads, that's part of growth. If you're someone that just assumes that you're going to stay in one spot forever, then you're living a fantasy. And that's just me being blunt. I think you're living a fantasy and you're just not going to be able to see the vision and see the true potential of what you could do or what you could become. So that's the word of advice. And that's things I want to talk about really for finding new opportunities. But I hope you guys took away something from that. Again, I've always wanted to have these conversations just like with friends in general, because obviously, like, I may not say this much when it's like I have a guest, because obviously I want to give them the space. But I'm hoping that from this conversation, you guys take away something. I'm not like no TED Talk speaker. This is just me coming from the heart, just for someone that I've seen certain opportunities slip past me. And seen other people, trying to get into like certain rooms or certain spaces. 'Cause I always believe about not gatekeeping. So I want to share information, share my thoughts, be open with you guys. So I hope that was something you could take away for yourself. Now, moving on to some other things. Cheers to 5. Now, like I mentioned before, we were supposed to do in July, but it got pushed back. We're now doing September. September 20th. It's a Saturday. That is the new date. So basically, again, for people who are asking, what is Cheers to 5, Sean? Okay, don't worry. I got you. I got you. Cheers to 5 is my celebration event for the safe room. So, like I mentioned, got started in 2020, May of 2020 to be exact. I remember when I got started, I had no clue what I was doing. Like zero, zilch, zero, nada, nil. I had no clue. I just went in blindly saying, you know what, let me get a mic. I bought a $20 mic from Winners, guys. I didn't even go to a proper like store and got a mic. No, a $20 mic from Winners. Like it was not good. I still have it today. Like it's in my bedroom. And I thought, you know what, let's just get into it. Let's just start having conversations, like catch up a vibe. And eventually it started to evolve over time to what the safe room is today. I went from using a $20 microphone to now I'm here in front of over, I want to say 3,000 of y'all, which is amazing. I appreciate you guys listening to me and hearing my annoying, crazy, sporadic, bubbly personality. I hope you guys enjoy that. But I do this for you guys. I wanted to make sure that you guys have some entertainment while also picking up some informative information. It's not just the vibes, but it's also the intelligence that we want to give for the safe room. So long story short, 5 years. Technically, the 5 year mark was back in May. So you're probably wondering, why are you doing this now, though? Well, I wanted to do it in May, but I was working at the time being. And I thought, you know what? As long as I can do it before 2025 ends, then we're good. It doesn't really matter. So it was going to be a nice little celebration. Nothing too crazy. Like usually I go to a lot of events and it's like very networking esque where there's always information being shared and like that's totally fine. I've been to events like that. This one was just gonna be basically like a party in a way. I kind of put it as like a celebration event, but it's like a party where it's like, okay, we're gonna have like food and drinks, we're gonna have like interactive activities, there's gonna be stuff going on, a raffle, there's gonna be like different activations happening. So we got a whole stacked lineup, like I mentioned, and I'm super excited for that. We already got 15 people reserving their spots. So like we about to be outside. We're about to be outside for the fall. Just know about that. So I did want to go on and break down the agenda. And this is the first time I'm opening up to not only you guys, but the rest of my safe room audience. Because originally I said, let me invite my guests first because they're the VIPs. They should get the first invite, you know? Some responded, some didn't. I'm gonna get back to them. Don't worry. I'm about to give them a reminder, like, hey, you missed my first video. You need to get your spot ASA now, not P ASA now, right? So now I'm actually opening it up. I'll put the link in my bio after this, so you guys can get your spot because I'm telling you, it's gonna be nothing but vibes and entertainment. Now, obviously, you got to go through like the standard procedures. Registration, sign up, yada, yada, yada. We're going to skip at that. Skip. Now, for many who have watched me every single week or mostly every single week, because again, sometimes I might not be here. Look, a 1, 2, I might be gone. I go by the nickname, the moniker of Mr. President. That's a whole nother story. But basically, that was the nickname I was given back in high school, and I've ran with it ever since. There's also a very popular card game called President. Well, I guess like there's different versions of the name. There's President, there's Bum, there's A-hole. We're a family show. I'm not gonna say it on air, but you get the gist. And this was a game I used to play a lot back in high school. During lunch, it was me and the homies. We would be in the back of the library just eating our food, and like we were just I was the king of that. I was getting everyone in that game. So I thought, you know what? It's been years. It has truly been years since I played. I don't think the last time I played it, it was high school. So I thought, you know what? We got to bring it back. We just, for one night only, we have to bring it back. So we're going to be doing a little president invitational so people could come out, play along. One person that actually I sent the invite to, like he saw like the itinerary and saw the president invitational and immediately messaged me. He's like, "No way, you're bringing this back." He's like, "I'm immediately pulling up, like just for that alone." So you definitely want to take part. If you guys don't know the rules, don't worry, we'll break it down for you when you get there. Because when it comes to this game, there are like endless rules and like unlimited ways you can play it. So I'll have to like switch it up to make it like I guess sort of like my way in a way because it's my event, but also like things that make sense as well. So we'll definitely try to make things, capable and like, easier, accessible for everyone. So that's something you definitely want to tune into. Another thing that I wanted to do was to do a little bit of content, and not just doing interviews, but allowing people to talk about their business, about their work, sort of like what we do in the safe room, but on a much more smaller scale. So, like, they'll have a chance to talk about their work in 5 minutes. I'm going to have someone from the venue itself, which is going to be at Toronto Podcast here in Toronto at 309 Cherry Street. Shout out to Graham. What he's been doing for that platform and for that place has been absolutely incredible. Award winning, I should say. So shout out to them. He's going to be helping me out with the content procedure. So people get the chance to book some slots in. They can talk about the work. And it has to kind of do with something else that I'm going to be sharing that I can't even say on here because I said I'm going to wait for the day of. So I'm going to wait till the day of, but I will talk about like what that looks like. So again, that's going to be taking place, allowing people to talk about the work and hopefully get some testimonials too. Because at the end of the day, I am an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman. I have to get my feedback, my testimonials. So that way I know that people can see, like when they ask about my work, then it's like, okay, here's what my guests have said. Here's what people have said to me who I've worked with in the past. So you gotta be smart. You gotta think smart, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta think 2 steps ahead of the game. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay. And yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's going to be happening at this event. I'm telling you, like I mentioned, there's going to be the President Invitational. There's going to be a podcast spotlight series. So I'm actually going to be highlighting certain podcasters that have been on the Safe Room before, and give them a chance to talk about their show, how much of an impact that they're making for the podcasting industry here in Canada. So I want to give special love to my fellow podcasters because I feel like we don't get the love. We don't get that love. I know we talk about the videographers and the photographers, the content creators, the influencers. Like there's a whole bunch. But I feel like the podcasters, like we need love. The musicians as well, artists, they get love. The podcasters need love too. We need to get our flowers. So I'm going to take the time to do that at this special event. So for all the podcasters, I see you, I hear you, and I'm gonna show love to y'all. All right. Um, Another thing we're also gonna be having is a fireside chat. So I wanted to bring in someone to do a fireside chat so that they can share valuable information in the work that they're doing. Because again, I know I said that I don't want this to be too much of a networking event, but I also feel like I need to have something as a selling point. At the end of the day, people like a little information sharing. That's the world we live in. It's that's where it's being concentrated with. So I'm playing the game and I'm gonna bring in someone. I can't say who yet. I want that also to be a surprise, but that will be announced eventually. It won't be like the day of. It will be like announced a couple days, maybe a couple weeks in advance. So definitely keep on a lookout for that. I mentioned food and beverages. So again, I'm getting a caterer to do that. And listen, for all my Jamaicans out there, if you love like your jerk chicken, ackee and saltfish, everything like that, I got some special delicacies coming out for that event. So if you just want to come for the food, like listen, pop through because I'm bringing the heat for that. I'm bringing absolute 10 out of 10 catering. Don't even try it with me. Okay. So there's going to be lots going on. Like I mentioned again, games and activities, very interactive activities. I don't want it to just be where like there's just games where people could just kind of isolate themselves with. I want everyone to be involved because again, we're a community here at the Safe Room. So the vibes need to be cohesive. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So again, the major logistics. So again, September 20th, 2025. Start time is at 6 p.m. Now, I want to talk to my black people real quickly. I could talk to everyone. I want to talk to my black people specifically. Now, I understand we say we move on black people time, like, oh, you say 6, all right, I'm gonna pop at 8. I'm not that person. I'm from a rare breed. When you say come to an event at 6, I'm here at 5:30. Latest. I'm punctual. I have a saying. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, don't show up. Just don't show up. And honestly, for anyone who's listening that wants to come out, when I say 6, I better see a good amount of you here, like at 5:40ish, okay? Because I want to get started at 6. I don't want to say 6 and then we don't start for another 2 hours. Because don't forget, I'm paying money for this venue. I'm paying money to book out this space. So if y'all come late, we can't fully vibe and enjoy ourselves, okay? 6 o'clock. When I say 6, pull up at 6. That's all I ask. Thank you. All right. Sorry, I had to get a little serious here, but like, let's again just come out for 6, come out for a good time. Again, location is at 309 Cherry Street here in Toronto. Name of the place is Toronto Podcast. Give them a follow. They're on Instagram at Toronto Podcast. Give them a follow. If you want to use their space to actually have any podcast recordings or do any events, shout out to them. They're amazing people. Shout out to Graham and shout out to Sunny Diamonds as well because they also have a music studio in there. So shout out to the both of y'all. Dress code is semi-casual, right? We're not going to business S. No, we're also not coming like with a basic t-shirt. I mean, like dress to look good. Cause listen, I already got an outfit ready. Like that's how serious I'm taking this. I already got an outfit ready. So I don't come to play. When it comes to dressing up, I'm the Teflon Don. Don't play with me. I will outdress you any single day of the week. Put it on. Put it on. Trust me. So again, those are all the major logistics. And again, I will be sharing a major announcement. And it's a very important announcement that has to sort of doing the safe room, but more of the future of like what I'm looking to do moving forward. Like the safe room will still continue, but there's a new direction that I'm trying to go into. That's all I can say. Don't want to give away too much. I don't want to say give away too much. Okay. So that's basically the gist of it again. Cheers to five, September 20th. If you guys want to get your tickets after this conversation, after I finish going live on here, then I will put the link in my bio. You can head to my Instagram at the Safe Room Official. That's the Safe Room Official. So the Safe Room, as it is together, an official OFFICIAL. You can get the link there, reserve your spot, and come out to a good time. You guys get to meet me too for the first time in person. For those who are listening, you get to meet me. I'm a good person. I promise you. Just because I'm like this, it's like, oh, I bet when he's in person, he's like an introvert. He's quiet. Nah, the energy don't stop. It don't stop, baby. Like this is who I am every single time. I love to mingle with people. Everyone I've had on the show have said the same thing. I'm an extrovert when I'm out, when I need to, but when I'm inside, I'm an introvert. I can't lie anymore. I'm an extrovert. I'm not gonna lie. I am that talkative person. Even when I'm here, it's just like sometimes I'll try to call someone if they're busy. It's just like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, are you good? You like, how's it been? That's always been me. I love to mingle with people and I would love to support people. I feel like that's also been a God given objective and task that he's given to me to support, like help thy neighbor, love thy neighbor. That's always been like my, I guess, mantra, or I guess the gift that God has given to me. So that's just who I am. And I'm hoping for those listening, you guys can pop out for September 20th again. It's a very special event for me. And it's not just for me, it's for anyone who supports the Safe Room, whether you've been an OG since day one. And I know there's a lot of OGs since day one, whether you've been halfway through or even if you just discovered the safe room for the first time. I would love to have you guys there. It will be a fantastic time. You don't want to miss it. Now, before we wrap things up, I do want to have like one little final segment. Now, usually I do a little activity, but it's just me. It's just me. I don't have a guest, so I can't torture the guest this week. But this one thing that I want to do is a very easy segment. It's more of what are you listening to? I'm a big music guy. Okay, I cannot lie. I'm open to most genres. There's a couple that like I won't lie, I won't touch. Like rock, like or like heavy metal. Nope, no, thank you, no sir. But I like to listen to music in my spare time, and I like to just jam and bump. R&B, hip hop, soca, reggae, pop. Sometimes if I'm on shuffle, like a little bit of gospel music in there. So some songs that I'm listening to. I'll name some notable ones. So obviously Chris Brown was just here in Toronto, and everyone's going crazy over the new song he dropped with Bryson Tiller. It depends, and I'm definitely listening to that track. It's a bop. I can't lie. It is a bop. Chris Brown's like one of my favorite artists of all time. Been listening to him like since then. Like I'm a 2000 baby. I'm literally born in 2000 on the dot. So like I've been for the entire journey of his career. But I think even Holy Blindfold's another one that he dropped recently that no one's talking about. I'm like, that's a slapper as well. I mean, I really enjoy it. So Chris Brown, if you ain't listening to some Chris, he dropped some recent music there. He's great. Another one that I'm listening to is this new Giveon album, Beloved. Giveon was another person that I felt a lot of people were talking about back in 2020. And he's still a variable noble singer, but I think a lot of people just forgot about him for some reason. Please go listen to his album Beloved by Giveon. It's amazing. Absolutely incredible. Such lavish and lush production, like jazzy, very like throwback vibe. I can tell, I swear, I've been playing that song. I've been abusing that song for the last 2 weeks. Like every day I have to hear that song like 2 times, at least 2 times. Absolutely incredible. If you're a fan of hip hop, and listen, when it comes to hip hop and rap, I want hip hop and rap that has like good substance and good quality. I'm not someone that's like listening to like the mainstream artists like the Futures or like the Young Thugs. Like for anyone who even knows what I'm talking about, like just the like that trap stuff. Like I like my trap. Don't get me wrong, but that's not the music I'm really tuning into when it comes to rap. But one album that dropped a couple months ago that I'm still bumping very heavy is Let God Sort 'Em Out from Clips. Clips is a duo that comprises of Pusha T and Malice. And when I tell you this album's perfect, like there's not a single bad song. 13 songs of straight fire. Fire. So if you are a hip hop head like myself, let God sort them out from Clips. Go take a listen to it. If you are listening to more of reggae, I got some couple reggae hits. I know obviously we're on Love Bay Radio, so I feel like I gotta be swinging the reggae songs at you. Elaine, she dropped a song back in May called Answer, and I'm telling you, the singing is impeccable. 10 on 10. The vocals are out of this world. So if you listen to Elaine, yeah, Answer, definitely take a listen to that. Leela Ike is another one who I'm just so mesmerized by her voice and the way she sings. It's like so soothing. She dropped two singles in early February that I'm still playing today. Romantic featuring Masika and Too Late to Lie. Absolutely both incredible songs. And I'll give you one more for the road. This one comes from a rhythm. And for those who may not know, when we talk about rhythm in like Caribbean culture, it's basically like a bunch of artists creating their own songs using the same beat, the same production. And I know like I'm a fan of like some like amazing rhythms. Maybe that will be like a separate conversation for sure. But one song, This I Know from Kalila, I guarantee you by the end of this year, when it comes to like the Apple Music like wrap up, this song will be in the top three. 100%. I can't stop playing this song. Like that chorus when she gets to like the this side. No, I'm telling you, I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. So there's a couple recommendations. Again, you guys let me know what you're listening to as well. Maybe I'll make that as like a weekly thing. That could be a weekly thing to end off our show. Like, what are you listening to? Or like something for the audience to engage. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm gonna tap out for tonight. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Again, you want to follow me on Instagram, follow me at the Safe Room Official. Again, the link will be up for Cheers to Five. So make sure you guys get RSVP. All right, I'll be watching. If I check in the next 24 hours and there ain't a single spot filled in, I'm going to come back next Thursday. And that will be the first words I will share, okay? I say this out of love. I love y'all guys. Don't worry. Again, at the Safe Room Official on Instagram. If you want to follow my personal page, it's the President of TO. Again, the President of TO is on Instagram. If you want to find the Safe Room here on Love Bay, again, just type us up on YouTube. There's a playlist I got. Type in the Safe Room Love Bay Radio. You'll find all our previous conversations. If you want to go deeper into the archives, we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in next week to your favorite show here on Love Bay Radio. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.